Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Beata and I'm thrilled to have you here. This channel is all about diving into the exciting world of business management systems, sustainability, environmental management, and quality management. Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I will talk about risks and opportunities in business management systems. The latest versions of quality management system according to ISO 9001, environmental management system according to ISO 14001, and health and safety management systems according to ISO 45001 are based on a process approach and a risk-based approach. While the process perspective has always been a significant element of management systems, the risk-based perspective was directly introduced with the latest updates of those international standards. Previous revisions of the standards presented risk-based thinking in a more indirect manner, such as highlighting preventive actions or non-conformity analysis. Now, Section 6.1 on actions to address risks and opportunities is integrated into every management standard. This requirement emerged with the implementation of the so-called high-level structure used by ISO to develop international standards. Top management, focused on improving organizational results, should demonstrate commitment to risk-based thinking and must be aware of factors leading to risks and opportunities. Risk management is essential for the effective achievement of organizational objectives and overall management. Risk-based thinking should be incorporated into decision-making processes. Ignoring risks can lead to serious consequences, including customer loss and even bankruptcy. Risk-based thinking involves actions to mitigate negative risk effects and utilize emerging opportunities. In international ISO standards, risk is defined as the effect of uncertainty on objectives. The International Organization for Standardization developed a series of standards that are dedicated to risk management. The key standard in this area is the ISO 31000 standard. This is a guiding framework for risk management in organizations. According to this standard, the risk management process involves identification, analysis, and evaluation. They are all part of risk assessment. After assessment, the next step is planning risk responses. In the next part of this section, I would like to briefly describe the individual steps associated with risk management. Step 1 is related to identification of threats and opportunities. We can differentiate two approaches here, the top-down approach and the bottom-up approach. The top-down approach is where unit managers, departmental managers, or other top-level managers identify risks in the organization. The bottom-up approach is where middle-level managers and employees identify risks related to their department and tasks. You do not need to opt just for one of those approaches. For the effective identification of risks and opportunities, it is good to utilize the combination of both. Now let's take a look at some sources of risks and opportunities. Risks and opportunities can come from external sources or internal sources. The external sources may be, for example, legal changes, political sources, economic sources, socio-demographic sources, ecological or competition-related factors. The internal sources may be, for example, risks or opportunities associated with the organization's planning and controlling processes, communication skills, as well as the availability of resources such as human resources, capital resources, or technological resources. For example, frequent breakdowns of outdated machinery can pose a threat to timely order fulfillment in the production industry. Step 2 of our risk management process is dedicated to risk analysis. Risk analysis aims to differentiate between minor and significant risks. The parameters describing risk can include impact, probability, and control mechanisms. The impact stands for potential consequences for the organization, such as losses, injuries, adverse events, costs, or delays. The probability is the estimated likelihood or possibility of an event occurring. Finally, the control mechanisms are the existence and operation of policies, standards, procedures, and physical safeguards to minimize the negative consequences of risk for the organization. Risk analysis typically involves determining the likelihood of occurrence and severity of threats or opportunities. A scale of assessment should be defined for both likelihood and consequences. This could be, for example, a 3-level scale or a 5-level scale. In order to estimate consequences, you may ask the following questions. Will the organization operate unlawfully? Will the organization violate its duty to protect people? For example, will people die, get injured, or fall ill? Will the risk lead to financial loss? Will the risk lead to reputation loss? Once risks are analyzed, then you can approach step 3. Step 3 is risk evaluation. The risk evaluation involves calculating the significance of the risk and determining the risk magnitude to decide if a particular risk is small, medium, or high. This can be achieved, for example, by multiplying the probability parameter and the impact parameter, or by using a risk matrix. A risk matrix visually represents risk magnitude in a standard graphical form with traffic light colors. Once you evaluate risks, step 4 is about reaction to risk. After conducting a risk assessment, including identification, analysis, and evaluation, you must consider actions to control the risk. The nature of these actions depends on factors such as the organization's willingness to accept risk, the ability to control risk, the insurance levels or other methods of transferring or sharing risk, and the cost-benefit relationship of risk reduction. Planned actions should be concrete and realistic. The goal of implementing actions is to effectively reduce risk levels, minimize negative consequences, and utilize opportunities. You may choose among a few reaction strategies. Those are avoidance of risk. This means eliminating risk or discontinuing risky activities. Accepting risk to exploit an opportunity. Eliminating the risk source. Changing the likelihood or consequences, for example by implementing control mechanisms. Sharing risk, for example, transferring to third parties through contracts or insurance. Retaining risk based on a conscious decision. Opportunities can lead to adopting new practices, introducing new products, entering new markets, acquiring new customers, forming partnerships, utilizing new technologies, and other desired and realistic possibilities aligned with the organization's or customers' needs. To effectively put in place good strategies for managing risks, there are a few important aspects that we need to take into account. Firstly, it's crucial that the top-level managers actively encourage the idea of thinking in terms of risks. This concept can be achieved by the integration of risk management into the overall management of organizational outcomes and alignment with the strategic direction, and it should be in line with the larger goals. Secondly, it is important to involve employees in this process. Creating an open platform for discussions and providing training and growth opportunities can really help support the risk management procedures. Also, it is worth keeping in mind that organizations function in a constantly changing environment, so it is necessary to regularly update and review the way you manage risks. This includes looking at the criteria you use to assess risks and the outcomes achieved through the risk register and risk response plans. I hope that the information shared in today's episode has been valuable and will make it easier for you to establish a comprehensive risks and opportunities management system within your organization. Thank you for joining me today, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Until next time, take care and keep making a positive impact on our environment.